Art Stars, so we have reached our last lesson of the term today, and it means it's finally time to take out your cotton. We're going to be working with fabric today and a thing called eco-printing. And if you haven't heard of eco-printing before, it just means that we're going to create our design by placing lots of plants and flowers in a design that we like, and then letting Mother Nature color this for us with a little bit of a chemical reaction. You're going to be taking a walk through your kitchen and maybe your garden if you have one, the windowsills around your house or your local park. And I want you to collect as many flowers and leaves and plants that inspire you. So take a little bag or a basket with you and start putting them in there. Let me show you a bit of what I have. I've got some rosemary. It smells amazing too. Some eucalyptus that I found dried in my house. I have the stem of a beetroot growing, so I'm gonna try that. I don't know if it's gonna work. I've got some honeysuckle. This is called a Kilea, and it's just such a beautiful flower. I couldn't resist. I've got a rose, some dried petals, and these lovely purple flowers. I'm not sure what they are. I've got some carrot leaves. I have some avocado skins that I tend to save all my avocado skins in pits because they create the most beautiful, like peachy pink color, and I'm going to show you in just a minute. But if you've got some fresh scraps or some dried ones, it works just as well. And onion skins. Onion skins, the red onion skins will give you a green color, and the yellow and white onion skins will give you a really bright yellow color. They're beautiful, and I think they work so well. So let me show you a little test that I did. And this one, silly me, you'll see the pictures of the arrangement on your PDF, and you'll see a list of plants that are famous for having a good tinge and to work well when you're doing this treatment. But don't be limited by those plants. Take whatever you like the shape of, whatever inspires you. So I grabbed a few of these to take those pictures, and then I forgot to put vinegar in my water. So the print didn't come out as strong as it could have, but given that I forgot one of the key elements, some bits came out really well. And so let me show you here in this corner. You can see all the little petals of the flower. This was some of the avocado. We've got some onion skins here, and this was just the straight up pennies. And so what you get, because these aren't chemicals and this is nature, what you get are really pastel hues once this process is finished. So if you want to pause here, take a walk, go to the park, relax a little bit, and pick some leaves, go for it. Remember to not pick things that you're not sure what they are. If they look a bit harmful, look for little spines and things that might prick you, and maybe take some gloves just in case. But once you've got your materials, you're ready to sit down with me and do this part. You're going to take your cotton from your pack, and you can cut it down to smaller sizes if you prefer. I thought I would use these to make a cushion cover. So I cut them a bit smaller, and I'm gonna do several. So once you've got your cotton cut down to size, you can get it wet, and this is just gonna help the color soak through once you put your fabric to boil. So what we're going to do is basically cook this fabric with all the plants in it, packed up really tightly, and the heat of the boil releases the color. And then we're going to use some pennies and the vinegar to release, basically it starts creating iron and an acidic kind of water where the color of the plant starts transferring onto the cotton, and that's how we get our print. So I love it when art and science mix together, and this is very much an experimental process. You have pros that do it for years, and sometimes it comes out really faint, like this example I did for you. You get a really cool repeat pattern, but it could have been slightly brighter if I had used my vinegar. So it's easy as pie. What you do is you start grabbing the plants you like and arranging them. When you put down a plant, try and put a penny, and make sure they're the 1p and 2p copper pieces, because it's copper that makes that reaction with the vinegar and the water. So we're gonna put them on top of the plants, and that's just gonna help make sure that there's enough of that chemical reaction going where the plant is. So maybe this one, I'll do my rose here, maybe sideways, like so, and maybe I'll put a penny here, holding that together. Then I'll do 2 of these down here. Maybe put a penny here. And I'm gonna use some of the red onion skins. And you can break them up with your hands if you want a more specific shape. You could use scissors and use them that way to cut very gently. Into your skins. Like that. So now we've got a little heart here. I quite like the abstract style, so I'm not going to worry too much about creating a particular shape here. Just filling out that space. Letting a little bit of a drift dance down here. And you'll notice I'm only filling half of my cotton piece. And that is because we're then going to fold it in 2. So let me put a penny here and maybe another one here. And I'm quite happy with that. So we're going to come and very gently fold it in half without letting the stuff inside move too much. And then it's so warm today that my cotton is already drying a little bit. But if it's nice and wet, this will help kind of glue itself one layer to the other. Now I'm going to pull out my parchment paper and I'm going to tell you why. At this point, if you've got several sticks, by the way, make sure that your sticks fit in your pot that you're going to put things to boil. So maybe you want to pick up a few sticks while you're out picking your leaves as well. And I would go here and start tying it up this way. But because I'm doing several, I'm going to put them all in the same stick. So I'm going to use a bit of parchment paper to separate my layers. You don't have to do this. This just ensures that the colors from aren't bleeding into the other print. Maybe you want them to bleed from one side to the other and experiment with that. So that is absolutely your choice. Let's lay our next piece down. And on this one, I think I'm going to start with the eucalyptus, because I've never used eucalyptus before, but I've heard that it can create a really beautiful result. So on this one, it's a bit crispy because it's dried eucalyptus, this one. So maybe the pennies can help me weigh it down a little bit. I might use 2 on this one. And I think I'm going to use some of this beautiful Achillea. So with this one, I'm just going to cut, if you can see underneath, it's a lot of different clusters. So I'm just going to cut a few and arrange them this way. And because I want both sides to get a little bit, it's sometimes nice to lay stuff like this rather than laying it down and only getting it on one side. Laying it sideways so that both parts of the fabric get a bit of the print. So maybe we do something like this. And what else haven't we used? Ooh, a bit of avocado skin on this one. And even those little bits that are falling off it, I'm going to leave in there because they might create a little bit of like a splatter pattern around my fabric. Lovely. So we're going to add some pennies to this. Maybe one more here. And then I'm going to try and wedge this in between the flowers here so that both sides get a nice reaction. Okay, and again we fold it in half. Oh, I can see I've gone a bit over the half here. Give it a little press. And again, I'm going to layer my parchment paper. Great, and now my last piece, I'm going to use the carrot. Let's see, this is a bit of a longer piece, so we've got more room to play with. So let's maybe get these going across this way, and it's a little bit long, so I'm going to maybe cut it here. And get this one going across the other way. Maybe they just almost touch in the middle here. And let me bring this down so you can see the arrangement a bit more. And maybe some honeysuckle. We haven't used this guy, so he's gonna come here. Fill with our pennies. So maybe one comes here, a small one here. We'll repeat mirror on this side. And so I'm just trying to get a nice balance so that when my image is mirrored, I get a nice flow across the whole fabric. So we're gonna use one here, lovely, and fold this in half very gently. And I'm gonna use one more piece of parchment paper. There we go. Get this out of our way. And now comes the skillful part. Winding it around your stick. So you want to make sure you go slow with this. And do it as tight as you can. Because this is really going to help the print transfer on. The pressure of the fabric pressing against the flowers. Will really create that print movement. Okay, getting there. And if you've got mum, dad, somebody around the house to help you, this is sometimes easier with 2 people, which is tying our bulk together. So I'm gonna grab some string and maybe I grab this corner here and start as tightly as you can again. And again, if you don't have string, any thread will do. And make sure it's nice and tight. And make a nice double knot there to keep those tight. As I put it in, I might have to fold these up a little bit, and you can see on the piece I did for your PDF was a bit longer, and so this definitely had to fold. I think this just about will fit okay in my biggest pot that I have at home. And that is it. You're gonna put a pot to boil, and you're gonna pour in a little dash of vinegar. You can pour in a few extra pennies if you want to make sure that there's enough copper and iron and they're mixing up to get your reaction going. As soon as you see the water boil, you can put in your piece of fabric, turn it down to medium heat. Mum and dad will definitely have to help with this part. And let it simmer there for 1 hour. And I always find this part of the process really difficult. You want to try and let it cool down inside the pot. So like 3-4 hours if you can. I start getting impatient and always want to pull it out early because I really want to see what the print turned out like. But you'll get the best results if you can let it sit there for 4 hours. While we wait for our pot to boil, I thought we could do a different print with our leftover leaves. So I've got some honeysuckle left, and I've got some leaves here that I really liked the shape of, but they don't have a lot of pigment in them, so it wasn't really coming out. We have some strawberry leaves. We have some nasturtiums, which I think they're so beautiful. They look like little pond lilies. And I think they're going to come out really pretty in a print. And I've got this part of a passion flower, which I just think they have really cool leaves. So we're going to play around with these. Can even play around with the smaller leftover flowers. And even the onion skins and the avocado skins. So let's gather some of our leftover leaves, and you're going to bring out your watercolors, your notebook, and of course we're going to need a little bit of a plate with water. So let me put these to one corner here, and I'm going to grab my water and my brush. So I'm just going to pour here. Lovely. And I'm going to use, I think, let's keep it in the green family to start. I might use this beautiful dark green with my nasturtiums. So, a bit of water. Oh, this is such a beautiful, beautiful green. So, I'm going to put my palette here to one corner. You can grab your leaf and sort of brush a bit of the watercolor onto it. I'm going to grab a bit more color here and a bit more water here. And it doesn't have to go all over. Like you can see here, there's just a few drops on top. I'm going to turn this and press it downward. And I can see a little bit of the water coming out, and I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to grab my other nasturtium and I'm going to come to the other corner. And this brush holds a lot of water, so it's just soaking everything up for me. Lovely. We're gonna come from this side and boom. You've got to be a little bit fast to turn it and get a bit of that going. And I might just hint at this a bit and see if that prints a bit. Same with this corner. See if that one doesn't want to stay down. We might leave that one. But this one naturally wants to come down here, so I'm going to leave that running across. What else have we got? We've got another one of these lovely little blue flowers. So and you can choose to maybe do a monochrome print. Everything in one color. Or you can go crazy and like Mother Nature use all of the colors available. What else? We've got these beautiful honeysuckle leaves. I'm going to go ahead and bring in a bit more green. And you'll see each leaf takes the paint differently. So with this one, it's going on really smooth. The nasturtiums are what you call a hydrophobic leaf. And that just means that they water just rolls off them, a bit like if you were wearing a raincoat. The water just kind of slides off them. Whereas we can see with the honeysuckle, they aren't. They will let the water just sit on top there and the leaves slowly absorb it. So we're going to put this one here. And then I'm going to wash off my brush and use one more color with maybe my strawberry. I do love the shape of these. Let's go for a yellow. Oh, and I've not done a great job of cleaning my brush, but we'll soak it up slowly. And let's see, this one might be a bit of a tricky one. And down. And then we gently press here. And what this does is very similar to when you're using foil to texture your watercolors, where some of the little veins and things are. it'll pull the water together. And so we should get a little outline of what all these bits look like. Let's do one more bit. We've got a bit of space here. I'm going to grab these again. And this time, because we don't have a mirror situation happening, I am just going to put them face down. So let's grab a bit more yellow. I think it's such a beautiful yellow, the one of these flowers. So I'm trying to pick a watercolor that imitates that, because I just found it so inspiring. It reminds me a bit of the Impressionists. And this might be tricky. Okay, load that up with water and spring. And you kind of, with this, I think I'm going to try and press it very gently, just so that it gets a bit more contact there. And we get a bit of that texture of all the teeny tiny petals. And that is it for today's activity. So when I see you, you definitely won't have your fabric ready, and that's fine. I'd love to see how it turns out if you want to send me pictures of that once it's ready. But we can definitely share our little prints that we are making whilst our fabric boils and have a little discussion about that. See you soon, everybody. Bye.